Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today marks an extremely important moment in speedrunning history. I must be honest before I begin this video, I have been hiding a great discovery for around a week now, waiting in the shadows for the right time to release it to the world. I've completely sprung open Mung Daal Vietnam, and this game will never be the same after this video is uploaded. Mung Daal Vietnam has very recently developed a small speedrunning community, and I'm hoping that what I share with you today will help it grow. New world records have been thrown back and forth by two runners within the last week, and the latest one seems to optimize the current route almost perfectly, which places runners in an interesting place, searching for faster times in an extremely technical run. Now, without further ado, I will describe my discovery with as accurate of a timeline as I can. As I ran this game with my friends and fellow runners, Mung Balls, current world record holder, and Kimchi, who you will soon see is very important in developing the dynamic at hand, we immediately gravitated towards finding faster routes, and we came to the conclusion that there could exist a skip which could change the game forever. And I mean, forever. The most recent world record set by Mung Balls currently sits at 1 minute and 41.7 seconds, with a sub 1 minute 40 second run seeming like a pipe dream, only possible with the discovery of a groundbreaking glitch. There were no glitches found or used in this world record run, meaning a new glitch could save a sizable chunk of time, and that is exactly what I set out to find. We will now jump into the game. Once you pass the first area through this tunnel, you come up on a series of huts. Well, when you go into the middle hut, you find a large, brown, tusked man named Gazpacho dying. Walking up to this hairy war hero initiates a cutscene where you watch him utter his last words. This cutscene lasts for about 10 seconds. Now at first glance, one might assume that you could run right past the hut just like you run past all the enemies. However, one very large problem stands in the way, which is an invisible wall. We started to walk around the entire jungle in search of a weak spot, but unfortunately there was no walking past this invisible wall. After finding this, my mind eventually wandered to the idea of somehow breaking the invisible wall without triggering the cutscene. But how would this be possible? The game seemed airtight, with almost no moving parts, making glitch hunting a burdensome task. This crushing blow completely antagonized my fellow Mung Daal Vietnam runner, Kimchi, turning his doubt like daggers directly towards me. He believed that it would be impossible to skip this cutscene, and that a so-called Gazpacho skip would never happen. Despite his opposition, I began my hunt for cracks in this masterclass in game design we call Mung Daal Vietnam. I had watched way too many summoning salt videos to believe that a glitch couldn't be found in this game, because as he has shown, there is always a way around these things. My guess as to how this cutscene worked was that there was a hitbox that, when touched by the player, would trigger the Gazpacho cutscene, and there was a separate hitbox that broke the invisible wall that blocked the entrance to the next area. I really had no idea that this was the case. For all I knew, the hitboxes could have been exactly the same, but for this skip to work, they had to be separate. So I believed in it because I had to in order to make my great discovery. I decided the first thing I would try would be to find a place where the cutscene wouldn't trigger, but the invisible wall would break, which became the basis of my experiments. And you know what I found? I found virtually nothing. This led me to believe that the cutscene hitbox directly overlapped the invisible wall hitbox. This discouraged me quite a bit, and I started to believe myself that Kimchi was right, and my journey would be over before it started. Maybe the hitboxes were the same, and my greatest fear was the truth. However, all of that would come crashing down when this happened. Wait. What? Hold on. Could that save time? Hold on, did it? Dang it, dude. That's crazy. Now, this may not seem like much. However, it proves one critical fact in order for this skip to be possible. The cutscene hitbox and the invisible wall hitbox cannot be the same. I immediately drew out a map of the cutscene hitbox in MS Paint and posted it in my Discord, where I met further doubt from Kimchi. Yo, what's up?
What are you doing?
What?
Let me turn up my gain real loud. You're an embarrassment to the sport. It's impossible to find the skip. It's like a game made in I don't know what it's made in. It's a game made in something, but it's too basic. The code is too basic to skip the cutscene.
You're still on this, dude?
You're still on this is the question.
Oh my. Okay.
You're wasting your time. You're wasting the community's time.
There's a way to do this. There has to be a way around this. I've watched too much Summoning Salt to know that there wouldn't be a way around this.
It's impossible. You're a disgrace. And if you really loved the sport, you would be striving for world record right now.
But here's the thing. This Gazpacho skip will give us sub 40, 140. It's what we've been looking for so long.
We'll do that with pure talent and skill. Something I guess you just don't have.
Oh, okay, dude. And here's a picture of the map I drew. Remember this little section in front of the hut because it is very important. With a much needed victory under my glitch hunting belt, I tested more. However, it wouldn't be smooth sailing from there, as this is where I hit my second roadblock. I tried to find more weak spots. I spent hours touching walls, climbing on fences and porches, grasping at any straw I could see, but my tests proved unfruitful. Every inch of the hut I touched led to a disappointing, unbroken, invisible wall. If I'm being honest, this is where I really started to crack. I took a break from the game for a little bit. I thought my search was over, but it lingered in the back of my mind, and I researched YouTube videos on glitch discovery. I saw everything from Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated to Link's Awakening Remastered, and they all had one thing in common: moving parts. Like I said before, this game has almost no moving parts. You can only run, shoot, aim, crouch, and jump. The enemies barely move, and there is no way to gain speed, such as in a vehicle in Mr. Krabs Overdoses on Ketamine and Dies, made by the same developer. The only thing that I could think of that I could change was the explosive barrels, and because of my ability to affect them, I heavily gravitated towards them. There are 4 explosive barrels, but only 3 of them are relevant to the speedrun, as they are in the direct area of Gazpacho's hut. I was fascinated by them because they are extremely wonky. Distance from the barrel doesn't affect the damage you take from them. You either die or you don't, depending on if you are within their range or not. As silly as this may sound, this is why I thought they could change something. They don't even move at all, but I needed anything to use because I was running out of ideas. When I started experimenting with them, I never would have guessed that these barrels would be the key to my discovery. I began with shooting the first barrel to blow it up, and I ran into the hut. I really didn't expect anything to happen, so I stood in the front section of the house, not triggering the cutscene. I stood there motionless, perplexed as to what to do next, and being shot at by the enemies outside when suddenly... Wait. I didn't even touch my keyboard. What? This was the discovery I needed. This was everything. This proved without a doubt that the hitboxes could be manipulated, and the explosive barrels were the key to that. I cannot express how excited I was for this seemingly ridiculous discovery, but this was the point where I knew the Gazpacho skip would be discovered soon. So I did what seemed like the next logical step, and I shot all 3 barrels in the vicinity of Gazpacho's hut. After walking into the hut, I was set into an infinite cutscene loop which started before the normal hitbox allows for. This game was so much more cracked at the seams than we had originally thought, and this fact brought about an unstoppable motivation in me. Kimchi would see. If the cutscene hitbox was manipulated, then that must mean the invisible wall hitbox was as well, so I tried the only thing I could think of. Nothing could prepare me for what I was about to do. This could be the one. No. No way! No way! I excitedly typed in our Discord chat in all caps, Gazpacho skip! And shock filled my colleagues' voices as we joined our voice channel and discussed my newfound discovery. Kimchi had been defeated. I shoved my discovery down his throat, and all he could do was sit there in awe. By shooting all 3 barrels, I was able to distort the invisible wall hitbox enough to activate it by standing still inside the hut and leaving before the cutscene hitbox could catch up. Standing in the front area of the house was the key location for this. There is still a lot to be discovered, as sometimes shooting all 3 barrels will cause the cutscene to start way before entering the house, and sometimes it will glitch out and start once you walk out. It is unknown the time needed to stand inside the house for this glitch to occur, as well as just how far one needs to stand inside the house for the invisible wall to break. My best guess as to what happens is that these explosive barrels, while bending space, also bend time. This allows for Mung Daal to watch Gazpacho die in an alternate timeline connected to the one we play in. This timeline moves at a speed undetectable to the human eye, which speeds up the process by completely skipping the cutscene in our timeline. This tricks the game into believing the cutscene was watched, allowing for Mung Daal to gain speed in rushing towards Chowder in his helicopter. At that, my hunt was complete, and I felt more satisfaction than I had in a long time. I quickly recorded a run and reached the fabled sub 140, which I will link in the description of this video. Finally, sub 140 had been broken, and my new record of 136.0 stands tall. But that's not the end of everything. Soon after my new record, Mung Balls attempted a Gazpacho skip which only included the destruction of 1 barrel. A 1-barrel Gazpacho skip? That's impossible, you might say. But you would be wrong, and Mung Balls would be the first to pull it off. It's a much more difficult and technical skip, but it pays off and has the potential to save a few seconds. Now we're setting our sights on higher goals. Sub 135? Sub 130? I guess we will have to see what the future holds. Because of 1 barrel, my record will be soon broken by the much more skilled Mung Balls. However, my contribution to the speedrunning community will go down in the history books, and for that I celebrate. Thanks for watching. I put a lot of time into this video. All the writing, video clips, editing, and music was done by me. And if you enjoyed, leave a like or subscribe. I'll be uploading more Mung Daal Vietnam content in the future, and I want as many people to witness the events unfold as possible. We've created a Discord, which I'll also link in the description, and you can join and just discuss Mung Daal Vietnam speedrunning things. Anyways, I'll catch you all later. See ya.